So I thought I'd pause while I'm out here walking around. I've brought two cameras out with me. I've got the R6 Mark II behind me with the 100 to 5 RF 100 to 500 millimeters zoom lens on it. That's my workhorse. That's the setup that I bring out the most. It's very flexible. It allows for taking nature videos and photography of birds far away, other elements far away, but then also coming in closer and photographing the occasional insect and flower. But what I'm filming on here though, this is what I wanted to compare here, is the R50. And right now this is set up with an RF 16mm 2.8, f2.8 STM lens. So other things, I got this body, the R50, and it came with a kit lens of an 18 to 45 millimeter lens. And that's a nice combination. But what I found using the 16 millimeters serving my purposes, it's relatively light. I'm holding it out here at arm's length, and it's, my arm's not getting too tired yet. Let's talk about the R50 with the 100 millimeter f2.8. As I've been exploring with this, carrying it, oftentimes carrying two cameras, comparing the photos taken with that camera over there, filming this, and with this camera here, there are differences. One is that this is a macro lens, and I can bring the subject, the insect, the flower, whatever the subject is, up close and fill the frame, versus with that, have to keep a distance. The minimum focus length is right around 3 feet. And sometimes I can fill the frame with the insect, but oftentimes it involves some cropping. In comparing a couple of images where I've taken pictures of the same insect using both camera setups. But also part of what I have been using this body for is also vlogging using the RF 16 millimeter f2.8. One of the differences between the R50 body and the R6 Mark II body or the R6 body is the focusing, the autofocus with this lens seems to be much more accurate, a little bit quicker. And that surprised me considering the cost points of the two bodies. I often struggled with my R6 in this lens. The R6 Mark II seems to do a little bit better job than with the autofocus and the 100 millimeter lens. So this isn't a review of the lens or anything like that, just what's working for me is this setup right here. It's nifty, it's light, the body is kind of tiny, so sometimes the balance, the ergonomics of it are a little wonky for somebody with hands my size. I don't have large hands. Oftentimes I'm using one hand. I'm putting one hand on the ground to balance myself and leaning in, and I'm able to work the dials, etc., with the thumb and still work the shutter and without fatiguing myself too much. Those of you that do macro photography, handheld macro photography, you may recognize how often you might find yourself not breathing while you're leaning in, taking a photograph of an insect or a flower, trying to track the focus, the wind's blowing at it, etc. You got the body movement, you got the handshake, you got the movement of the plant, the surface that the insect is on or the flower is on. A lot of movement involved, and this camera seems, for me, is handling it really well. If you find this useful or enjoyable, click subscribe and hit the like.